Hey guys, welcome to the Pink Table where I save the spot just for you. The margarita of the week will be the peach margarita, and we'll have the recipe for you at thepinktable.tv, so go check it out and enjoy. So for this week's episode, I'm gonna let you guys know a little secret. So outside of YouTube, I work in an office and I'm there 40 hours a week. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how to deal with a difficult coworker. Because after all, you know, your job, it is 40 hours a week for the most part, standardly. So it's kind of like an extended family. You don't get as personal with them as you would with your family, but it is, you know, there are people that you spend a lot of time with, and you do have to socialize with them and have chit chat by the water cooler or whatever it is that you have to do. So what do you do when you have someone that works with you that you are just like, oh my God, this person, get out? Because if it's a family member, you can just walk off, or you can go somewhere else, or go home if you live outside of your family. But when it's a coworker, it's like you have to deal with them. You can't go anywhere unless you quit and find a new job, right? So I wanted to give you guys 5 tips on how to deal with someone who you just don't really like in the office. So, tip number 1 is ask yourself 2 questions. Question number 1 is, what is it about that person that really bothers you? Do they remind you of someone? Do they do things that someone outside of the job does and you're like, that is so annoying, or that reminds me of like what so-and-so would do or what so-and-so would say? Ask yourself really what it is about their personality that gets to you. And question number 2 is that person running your emotional day? And by emotional day, I mean, do you see them and you get angry, so then you just walk around the office angry all day? Or you see them and you're like, oh, that person's there, and they just kind of put like a sour taste to your whole day. So don't allow them to run your emotional day. So you have to ask yourself that so that you can deal with it better. So if you do feel like they're running your emotional day, like making you angry and tense all day, you can sort of deal with that first before you deal with that person's personality. Okay? So tip number 2 is see that person as a lesson. Learn from them. What is it that they do that really annoys you? And put that into your own life and say to yourself, you know what, if I am in that position, if they're a person that's higher than you within the office, I won't act that way. You know, learn by opposite. Do the opposite of what they're doing. Put that into your life and into your personality. Like, I am going to stay away from doing those types of things. If she's gossipy, I'm going to try to not be gossipy. If she's a tattletale, then I'm going to try not to be a tattletale, you know? If she just shoots down everybody's idea, I'm going to try to be more positive about everybody else's idea. So use them as a lesson, sort of like as a mirror for you to correct yourself and your personality. And tip number 3 is keep work relationships in perspective. Work relationships are professional relationships, so you should try, even though it's hard, I know, because I'm there, not to get emotional about those professional relationships. After all, those people were hired to do a specific job. They weren't hired to please you or to become necessarily your friend. I mean, if you do make friends with your coworkers, that's great, that's awesome. You know, who doesn't want a friend at work? But keep that in perspective in your mind. This is a professional relationship. It doesn't go beyond here, and you should try not to get emotional about it. It's hard. It's not easy, but you know, when you feel yourself getting emotional about it, just stop, take a breath, and say, "This is a professional relationship, and once I leave here, I don't have to deal with this person anymore." Tip number 4 is try finding good qualities that person has. Maybe they are too chatty and they don't know when to stop talking. But maybe every time they go out, they bring you a coffee. Or maybe they're really funny and they make you laugh, even though they overly talk a little bit. Find the good qualities in that person. Try to focus on the good things that they have to offer, and don't focus so much on, you know, all the bad things that they have, because we're all a mix of good and bad. So try to focus more on the good of the person instead of the negative. And if they're gossipy, then obviously you can't trust them. Don't tell them anything, because then everybody else is going to find out. Just be aware of who that person is, the good and the bad. And tip number 5, is this person the grain of sand to your clam. I don't know if you guys know, but to make a pearl, a clam gets a little dust of sand in there, and it irritates it and irritates it and irritates it until finally it makes a pearl. So are you really happy at this place? Are you happy with the job that you're doing? Are you being used to your full potential there? Maybe that person is there to be that little grain of sand to irritate you enough to make a move, to find somewhere else to go, to find a new job, to find somewhere where they can utilize your skills to the best of your potential. Look at it in that perspective. Maybe they're there to push you to make that change and move forward in your life. Of course, everywhere you go, you're gonna have that one person. But if that particular person is so much annoying to you that you can't just stand them at all, there has to be something else going on in there. Maybe it's time for you to move on, move forward. Maybe you're not really happy there after all. Or maybe they're a lesson. Figure out what that person's personality is trying to teach you as a human being, and make it a positive change within yourself. Okay? And then that's it for my tips, and I have 3 keys for you to make these 5 tips work. To open the door of each tip, I have 3 keys for you. Key number 1 is being truthful with yourself. That has to do with, asking yourself what this person does that really bothers you. So being honest and true to yourself. Key number 2, being compassionate. Be compassionate with that person. You don't know what's going on outside in their life. And also be compassionate with yourself. And tip number 3, make a change. If you feel like you need to make a change, make it. Whether it is within yourself so that you can deal with that person better, or whether it is to find somewhere else if you discover that you're not happy there. And those are my 5 tips. Those are my 5 tips and my 3 keys. I hope that they're helpful to you. I hope they make you feel better. I have an Ask Shelly section on my website at thepinkTable.tv. So if you want to ask me anything that has to do with this topic or any other topic, go on ahead and ask me. Or if this didn't work for you, you're like, Shelly, I tried it all, it doesn't work. You need to talk to somebody about it. Go ahead, ask me a question and I'll get back to you. I'm here for you. And I'll see you here next time at The Pink Table. Besos. Mwah.